Spote.
Hey, what's going on, man?
What's
Oh,
up?
call Fluky right quick, man, and then call me back. All right, we live. I'm live now.
All right.
He can't get on. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Strong Perspectives. I'm one of your hosts, Jaquari Armstrong, aka Uncle Spoke. Uh, Jaquari spelled that Juqurry. It means the wanted one. That's what my mama told me because I'm a '70s baby. It's a real African name. I'm not sure, what part of the continent it came from, but we were told that we all had African names uh, growing up. I'm not sure. I don't remember what my two brothers' names were, but mine is on my birth certificate. So that's Juqurry, Juqurry Armstrong means the one. Welcome to Strong Perspectives. Like I said, I'm your host. One of your hosts. Uh, Format's a little different this evening. Your regular media moderator, Keith Armstrong, my oldest brother, is you know taking taking the evening off, and I'm going to be on here with my middle brother, Damon Armstrong, as soon as I can figure out a way to get him into the room. Because I got the controls here, so you guys, please bear with me. And I'm nervous. This is a big one for me because this is like I'm not gonna say like it's a dream for me, but I always wanted to be in front of people. You know what I mean? And I think it's fun. I think the whole podcast thing is fun, and kind of wish I'd have got into it, further back than like the what is it 2 years that when we started. We we've come a long way, in that time. Come a long way in that time. We definitely had different things that influenced us to get into this, but there was always a base premise. Well, several base premises. Number one was we had a desire to see each other, more often because we all live in different states. I'm in Virginia. My oldest brother Keith is in North Carolina, and our middle brother Damon, he's still in Michigan. That's where we were originally from. We're originally from Michigan. So this was a way for us to see each other constantly every weekend. We haven't really missed a beat. I've missed a couple of our Thursday meetings due to uh, okay, here's my Keith, due to you know work. But as far as the Friday lives, we've been consistent. This has been part of our life. This has been a part of our job. You know what I mean? My brother Keith's there. I don't know if he's frozen or not, but yeah, it's Friday. Monday's a holiday. We if you're working and everything, whatever you do, I know you work hard. I hope you work hard, because that's definitely a part of who we are in our lives. Monday's a holiday, as I said, so I hope you have an opportunity to, to relax a little bit before, the hectic week starts again. I know I'm going to take advantage of it. Uh, yeah, this is, we here. We here. I'm here. Yeah. Show me some love. This is Strong Perspectives podcast. Like, share, and subscribe. We're live right now. I don't know if you can get to it on Facebook, but after the show is over, you can go and check us out on YouTube. Like, share, and subscribe us, man. Put us out there. Put us out there, man. We're all talented people. We're all interesting people. Uh, Another premise of our platform is we like to uh, bring back the art of conversation. You know, from our perspective, the way we communicate. Especially in our community, the Black community. It's become it's become harsh. We talk to each other bad all the time, all the time. culturally, you know, if you watch something like the Love and Hip, well, any of those shows uh, on other channels or whatever with a black cast, a largely black cast or whatever, negativity is always like the first and foremost thing you see. I mean, even when they greet each other, the black women on these shows, they call each other bitches constantly. Oh, bitch, and all this and all that, and if that's the level of camaraderie that you have, okay, I dig it. That's cool. But those same people, everybody can't call them a bitch. Is that fair? It's not necessarily fair. Black people in general. The way we use the N word. You know, I usually never use it. I never use it in casual conversations. I used to, and I don't anymore because, uh, well, I'm not going to get into why I don't use it anymore because I don't want to seem like I'm sitting on here passing judgment or anything like that. But I don't use it in casual conversations. I might use it, as a punchline and a joke, and that's no better. That's no better. But I think we use that word a bit loosely because it's definitely started to bleed over into other communities. People in the Spanish community use it. People in the Caucasian community use it. People in the Asian community use it, and it's become a term of endearment. You know, Probably always will be. For us, but we get offended when somebody else uses it. But there is that section of people who we consider friends from other communities that we allow to use that word. You know what I mean? I mean, we're a community of contradictions. We are, you know, and I'm not criticizing because I love the contradictions. I really do. It speaks to survival. It speaks to people and their purposes. You know, we've always worked from a deficit. Always worked from a deficit, and everybody has. But this country, the world, has seen fit to shine a light on us. You know, for whatever particular reason. Let me see. Uh, Let me see. Let me look at the comments. All right. Yeah. Benita, love you to death. Love you to death, sister girl. I miss you. Miss you. And the kids, and looking forward to really getting to know that grandbaby. Let me see. Hello, Hillary family. Hello, happy Labor Day. Oh, okay. Thank you, Edgar. Unthank. All right. Aunt Liz, love you to death. I haven't seen you in years. Over, it had to be at least a decade. Love you to death. Uh, my brothers, my brother Keith always, they always, talk about how they correspond with you and everything. And I'd like for all three of us to take a trip to come and see you. We need to take a trip to come and see you. And we need to take a trip down to Mississippi to see my father's side of the family. We need to go back to Michigan to, you know, uh, in some cases, rekindle things with our Michigan family. And not that there's ever, any beef. Distance causes causes communications to to wane sometimes, and that's no excuse, man. Because I'll sit up and tell you all day that I'm not a phone person, but anytime I talk to one of the people who I dearly love, and I might call them, they might call me. I'll find myself sitting on the phone with them for hours. My aunt Cheryl, we've had her and her children on on the podcast once before, but every time I talk to her, uh, I find myself being refreshed and renewed. I mean, that woman is for me. She's been the antidote for a lot of my ills, man. And she's not a problem solver, but she'll give you the space to, talk about what you got going on, and you kind of figure it out for yourself. The same with my Aunt Jeannie. My Aunt Jeannie is, before I moved to North Carolina, you know, uh, I would be working in the mailroom with her, and she would be holding court, holding court. You know what I mean? She was loving. She is loving. She's inviting. She's uh, she's an amazing woman. All my aunties are and were amazing women. My mother was an amazing woman. My grandmother was an amazing woman. So I've always been surrounded by strong female figures. And it's been, quite honestly, it's been difficult at times to live up to what I believe to be their expectations. But as I've gotten older, I've come to realize that they didn't have any, real expectations like that outside of just being my aunties. They just wanted me to be happy, you know. And for a long time, I was waning. I was in a rut, and I needed something different. And when I would talk to them about it, they would encourage me to go out and find that something different. And I believe that's what I did. You know, uh, this podcasting thing for me, it could be another one of those times where I found something different that I love. You know, I went to college. When I went to college, I went for for theater. That wasn't because I before I went to North Carolina Central. I've been to Eastern Michigan and Jackson Community College, and I wasn't studying, acting or anything like that. I wanted to be like in the psychology field or whatever. Didn't know anything about it. It just sounded interesting, and I could interact with people in conversations, and I could throw that in, and everybody would be like, "Oh yeah, you would be this and all that because you're a listener and all that." Yeah, and that made me feel good for a while, but you know when I went to Central and I had to declare a major, and I thought about it, I was like, "Wow, I don't love anything about this particular field, but I do love to entertain people. I do love to be in front of people, as nervous as it makes me feel. As high as my anxiety is, especially right now, because I know I'm babbling. Please excuse me. Uh, I was standing, in the line to make my decision on what classes I wanted to take, and I said, "Well, shit, you know, for me, look, bottom line is it was either going to be, North Carolina or Hollywood, because I wanted to be a movie star. I've always said that. I always said that my entire life, my entire life. And when I went to Central and I seen the opportunity to actually learn that particular craft, I dove into it. I dove into it. But let me get to some more of these comments. Let me see. Keith Barnes, what's up, baby? What's up? Can't wait to have you on again, brother. Liz, hey nephew, what's the other one love you hope? Hey nephew, what is the other one love you hope you guys have a good weekend and be safe. You be safe too, Auntie. I love you. Like I said, I miss you. I want to see you again. And me and my brothers, we need to get together and make a plan to make that happen. Uh, Keith Barnes, see, some respond to it like it's their name. Unfortunately, yeah. I mean, we've given so much good to this country, to the world. You know, but the emphasis is always on the negative or the questionable. And that to me, that it definitely takes away from our cultural contributions. Let me see. Excellent point and transparency on the N word. Real talk. Okay. All right. Here's my brother Damon. Let's see if we can add him to the stream. Yo,
Yo,
What's
can you hear
going
me?
on, bro? Yeah.
Oh my
oh my
God.
God.
What's
I'm
up,
sitting
man?
here. You got your earbuds, brother?
brother?
God.
Yo, I've
Yo,
been
I
sitting
just
here
sit here
babbling
babbling
and
and
doggone
doggone
just,
just,
the
the
show
show
will
will
go,
go,
the
the
show
show
must go
must go
on and
on and
shit.
shit.
Like, woo.
There we go.
Good.
Man, I went
I'm
through all them joints, man.
It had to be. It had to be because I'm just not savvy on this thing, man, and I couldn't get you on, bro, for real.
No, it's all good. I'm just saying. I'm like, man, because Cameron came down and said you was on.
Hmm.
Hey, everybody, how y'all doing?
Yeah.
You know,
Everybody. This is my brother Damon. Damon Armstrong. He's the third of our triumvirate, our podcast triumvirate. Uh, Welcome to you, brother. How was your day?
day was good, man. Day was,
Yeah.
you just me and the grandbaby just sitting around kicking it, man, and eating all day.
Yeah. I know she
You
was
know,
running around. She was running around talking about pimping, 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 boy. I know how them grandbabies pimp you, man. It's
hey,
cool.
knocking on the table talking about, is it ready yet?
Yeah.
It's been 5 seconds.
Hmm.
Who's that?
I just told you I was hungry. Yeah, you just told me, honey. I know, but where is it? Look, them conversations, man. And seeing them, formulate those thoughts or whatever, the challenge and to be inquisitive, man, it's amazing. It's
Yeah,
absolutely amazing.
yeah, definitely surprised me every day, man.
Hmm.
Hey, who's that? Aunt Liz,
Liz checked in
Sister
with us.
Tina. Hey, how everybody doing?
Yeah, Benita shouted us out. Uh, Keith Barnes and been on here and said a
All
couple of
right.
things. Uh, Edgar Unthank, you know what that is?
Is that Edgar Field?
If it is, God damn it. God damn it, that's that. Yeah, okay.
It's all right.
Man,
I think that's him, man. Don't quote me.
okay. We got to get in touch with him and see if he want to come on, man, for real.
Yeah.
Tina, what's going on, cuz? Love you, huh? But what's going on with your brother?
That man sitting up here drinking his coffee.
You got your coffee, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, so you're
You
gonna
know,
be
this
up and shitting all night, huh?
no, this first time me and you going solo, so I want to make sure my brain sharp.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The right stimulation, man.
Kibo. Okay, he a pit guy. What's going on, Pit? Yeah, Pit,
Oh,
man.
okay.
He helped to shape a bunch of my young life, man. For real, for real.
Okay. What's up?
Welcome to you, brother. Welcome to you.
How was your day, man?
It was pretty. It was okay, man. It was okay, man. I went to the grocery store. Uh, and I had the weirdest, strangest. I guess you would say cutest interaction. I don't say cutest for nothing, man. But I was standing in the checkout line right behind this young lady, and she had a little boy baby sitting in the riding thing,
Mm-hmm.
and he was an old man baby, man. You know, as I said, hey buddy, what's going on? He said, no, I said, hey buddy, what's going on? How you doing? And he looked at me, he said, oh, I'm a doing. I said, whoa, holy shit, this little dude been here before.
Say old soul, huh?
Yeah, yeah. So if he ain't got his
Mm-hmm.
daddy in his life, I know at least his granddaddy in his life. And it made me feel good, man. It really did. It really did, man. It made me feel good to speak to a strange child or whatever, and not have CPS call on me or whatever, man.
Damn.
It's a rough world, man. You don't ever know what the other man's motives is. You know.
Yeah, that's true, man. But innately, man, when kids look at you,
Hmm.
even teenagers, man, you big, tall, black man, if they black or mixed, whatever, they look at you, man, like, recognition,
Yeah.
you
Hell,
know.
yeah. Even little white babies, man. I mean, it's been countless times, man. Me and my wife and my daughter, we've been like sitting in the restaurant or whatever, man. And they give you them little video game things to tell you when your table is up.
Oh, okay.
And I'll be sitting in the waiting area, and a little white baby come over and hanging on my leg and all that. And the mama look over and she say, "Well, I'm so sorry. He never does this and all this and all that, but she never does this or all this and all that. And the daddy look over and look at me and turn around and keep on waiting. He don't even say anything.
Yeah, that's
So
that's wise.
yeah, but you can look at it like that, man. But men, when it comes to their wives and their kids, man, men, as protective as we are, and when we assess a situation, say, well, yeah, he don't mean no harm.
Yeah. I
When you can
understood the
bring,
sentiment though.
yeah, when you can bring that kind of comfort to strangers, man, there's something to be said about that. But that's something that we all possess.
Yeah.
We're all approachable people, man. All three of us. You got
Yeah.
the gift of invite, I'll call it. I've seen you go out of your way to make people comfortable, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
You know.
that's not something that you see a lot of people do nowadays. I've seen Keith go out of his way to do the same thing, just to be a people person.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we talk about, like things that we see in ourselves that we might look at as deficiencies or whatever. And those might be the things that draw people to us.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, man. You can look at it as a blessing and an opportunity.
Yeah.
You know.
Definitely, man. Definitely.
You know. Man, guess what I was thinking about today, man?
What's that?
When I was fixing my grandbaby something to eat, man, I started thinking about grandma.
Mm-hmm. Make it
And
Johnson.
yeah, and I remember, man, one time I came in, I was buzzed, and I was blew out. And I just got out in the streets. I said, man, I made it home safe. Because cats used to put guns out on me all the time. So every
Mm-hmm.
time I made it back to the crib, that was a blessing for me.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, man, I'm finna go home and eat and chill out. So how she used to make them big pots, man, that last for a couple of days.
Oh yeah.
And I went in and it was halfway full. And I put the pot on the stove, started warming up the whole thing.
Yeah.
Because I was going to eat till I was full, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm in there just humming and whistling and stirring and look how much beat down in the pot and all that. And, in my happy place. And all of a sudden I heard, uh-huh!
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I started running in place.
Richard
Because it had
Pryor
to be
shit.
about 2 o'clock in the morning, man.
Yeah. Richard
I
Pryor
started
screaming and
running.
shit.
Hey, you know what it meant? You know what I'm telling you, man. When I was through recollection, man. You know what I thought about, man. Remember on the Wizard of Oz when they was all standing in front of the wizard,
Mm-hmm.
and he said, "Well, what if the lion said, well, what if the witch kills us?" And he said something. And he took off running,
Yeah.
and then he dove through that window.
Yeah. You talking about the Wiz?
Yeah. The man dove through that window. Man, I was thinking about that, man. I laughed for about 15 minutes, man.
Man, look here. The Wiz was one of my favorite movies growing up, man. The Lion, man.
Oh, man.
Look, I used to know that whole goddamn say what you want, cause I'm here to stay, cause I'm a mean old lion. Yeah, man. I was saying, look, when we get to 1,000 subscribers, I'm sorry. When we get to 1,000 subscribers, I'm gonna sing that song, man. Oh, I
Oh,
mean, I
yeah?
said it. Yeah, shit, yeah. I said it a couple times, man. When we get to 1,000, I'm gonna sing something. Just to thank y'all.
Well, yeah, that's incentive enough, man, right there.
Yeah.
You know, what keep
Like,
saying?
huh? Yeah. Grandma
He
only
said,
slept
she
2 hours a night. Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. It wasn't a thing. It wasn't a thing to hear, Maggie Johnson up creeping late.
Man,
Cause she gonna get up and check her house
that's
and
right.
make
That's
sure
right.
everybody in the house.
Mm-hmm.
That woman could stand at the bottom of the stairs and listen for 5 minutes and know who was up there and what they was doing.
Yep. That was a beautiful thing, man.
Oh yeah,
That was a beautiful thing.
oh yeah.
You know. That whole extended family thing, man.
Mm-hmm.
That had a big influence on my life, man.
Mm-hmm.
Because everybody knew how to interact with each other. Knew how to interact and share and be a family.
Mm-hmm.
Extended and everything, man. And that was, I think, growing up, I think I took that for granted, man, because who was there? Aunt Cheryl, Uncle Ronnie was there for a minute, and then Uncle Kenny was there,
Mm-hmm.
and Robin was there.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
I find myself, man. Uh,
your brother's silly, man.
yeah, yeah.
You say,
I, I find myself, man. In the like when well after we had moved out. Let me see. Click on the comments to put them on the screen. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I'm gonna click on these comments to put them on the screen for you guys. Okay. And I'm gonna start from the top. Okay. That's Benita. That's Sister Gal. It's Pit Homie.
what up?
It's Auntie Liz right here. Hey man, we need to make a plan to go see Auntie Liz, man, for real.
Yeah.
I haven't seen her, in years. It's been years. We need, I like to get down to Mississippi too. She's Chicago, ain't she?
Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm.
You friends with her on Facebook?
Yeah, yeah, but I haven't spoken to her. Does Stacy know her?
I don't think so. But don't quote me on that, man.
Yeah,
I don't know.
if he don't, if he don't, we dropped the ball on that, man. He should know. He should know he got some extended family in the area or whatever. Let me see.
Yeah.
Keith Barnes, Keith, can't wait to have you on again, brother. I know you busy making moves and everything, man, and I talk about you every once in a while. When I'm at work, when I'm around the car guys or whatever. So yeah, keep doing what you're doing, bro. Auntie Liz, yeah. What you got planned for Monday, bro?
I don't know, man. I really don't know. I ain't no real, my son, your nephew, he the barbecue guy.
Isn't
Yeah, he the barbecue master.
he ain't never hopped on them wheels when I was there.
Well, he do it now, man. Hey, bro, this dude be frying up some fish, man.
Kibo,
You
yeah,
know, he said the crows.
yeah. You say you be frying up the fish.
Yeah, man. And I be on the slide, be hinting towards the boy. It'd be nice to have some of that good old fish.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? He sit outside and do it, man. Come back, man. Pile up. I'd be like, shh.
Go on out there and fry up that fish like you do.
Hey, man, you looking for the cord to that fry, man?
Hmm.
Here it is.
Yeah, I'll fry fish outside.
Mm-hmm. He does, man.
Yeah, maybe I need to start doing that with cooking outside. Period. So my clothes don't smell like food all the goddamn time.
Yeah, well, man, I just imagine he just don't want to be disturbed.
Mm. So what we gonna talk about, brother?
We had talked about when I talked to you yesterday. Was it yesterday when we was talking about Cool West running for president?
Hmm.
You
Hmm.
know, wanted to pick your brain and find out what did you think about that? What's your
Man, shit.
opinions?
Well, I got to tell you, man. It's pretty much my opinion is pretty much as solid as it was on the previous podcast when we spoke about it. I've always respected Cornell West. Always respected Cornell West. By first and foremost by his appearance alone. I mean, he is just unapologetically regular.
Yeah, yeah,
You know, he walk around with an afro, like like hey, this is what it is. And an
yeah.
eloquent speaker. Not only does he speak with eloquence, I mean, the level of intelligence and awareness is just ridiculous. You know what I mean? And I hope he really is afforded the opportunity, man, to put up a legitimate bid. I really do.
Yeah, I think people have to stop. You know that whole uh, voting for the lesser evil and all that stuff. Remember when the what was it, the Tea Party, man, when they started building that coalition up?
Mm-hmm.
You know, it was a slow build, and then they started putting people in Congress and Senate and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I think, for me personally, I think that if we as black people, if we get behind one candidate, you know what I'm saying, win or lose, we get behind one candidate, and then we start making them address some of our needs.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I think that would go further than uh, um, voting for a candidate who make a promise. Hey, you know what? If you vote for me, I put a black woman on the Supreme Court.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's a symbolic gesture, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, what else is it? You know, I mean, what else do we get from that?
Mm-hmm. Playing devil's advocate, bro. I mean, say we were as a community on a whole to back one black candidate who legitimately has our best interests at heart or whatever. You know, what are some of the benefits to that? I mean, would I vote for Cornel West? Yeah, but as far as his chances of actually winning the presidency, the seat, presidential seat, it's questionable at this point. It's questionable for everybody. So, can you give me a point or two of you know his platform?
Yeah, I, as a whole, his platform is the downtrodden, the people. You know what I'm saying, and that's everybody included. But you know what? You know that old statement. Lift all boats. You know what I'm saying? That I can't remember the exact quote, but lift all boats and everybody will profit for it,
Mm-hmm.
prosper from it.
Mm-hmm.
I think that historically, when it comes to the black community, you know what I'm saying, we've always been in that role. We've always marched for a legislation that gave us rights and all these different things, and then other people benefited from it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So if you really think about it, wouldn't it be, wouldn't it make sense to get behind the black community, man?
It really would. It really would. I mean, but ultimately, man, what's our goal, man? Do we want to be equal to white people? And within that equality, do we want to be free to exploit it? As some of them do, or are we just looking for the freedom to be us?
I think I think that it would bring more attention to, like, for example, black women, man, who die at a higher rate, what I'm saying, through the medical process. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? They get treated differently.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Is there really, really some type of apparatus in place, man? That there's statistics there that prove that black women get treated differently, and they're more apt to die. Not to be so harsh, but they're more apt to die than any other race. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying, why is it there an apparatus in place, man, to address that? You know what I'm saying, do you know? Look, man, not to put anybody out there or mention names, but I've listened to women say, I don't know how this is going to come out,
Hmm.
even in simple procedures.
Yeah.
So that fear is there, and then there's statistics that back it up. I'm saying,
Yeah.
why isn't that being addressed? That goes to the heart of the struggle that we as black people go through, man. And
But
the infant mortality rate in terms of the black babies. It's the same thing.
I
You
mean, but
know.
who? I mean, whose burden is that to carry it? I mean, is that something that the president should really be involved in, or is that up to us as a community to, pool our resources to ensure that Black women have, proper medical care, prenatal care? Is that up to us? That's got to be up to us. We have to try to figure out some ways to facilitate, places that we can go and get those things taken care of at zero to no cost because we have the money in all of our neighborhoods. We have the money to to ensure those things.
Yeah, we had the money, but I'm simply saying if there was if there's a body
Hmm.
that's that's paying attention to this and holding doctors and these people, the healthcare community accountable.
Hmm.
You know, so holding them accountable so that at least it gives, you know, our women peace of mind when they go into uh, a situation where they might need, you know, health, healthcare, you know, surgery and stuff like that.
Hmm.
You know, so I think win or lose, like a person like Cornel West, win or lose, I think that he can bring light to something like that and hold them accountable. You know what I'm saying? You look at the right, and they always say, "Well, you know what? We're going to stop that whole situation where you can just sue a doctor." You know what I'm saying? Whatever. So they put things in place where it's harder to sue them when they make medical mistakes, make medical errors.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? We want to be in a position where we could hold their feet to the fire and say you can't put this off or you can't blow it off or hire some high price lawyer to put you to bury you in paperwork. You know what I'm saying? Here it is, simple and plain. You was negligent in that because you was biased in your treatment of them.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? What's the whole idea that black women can now black women can withstand more pain than other people, right? So
Hmm.
when the black woman complains about something and say I'm having some pain here, you know what I'm saying? They oh no, that's that's gonna pass or whatever, right? Whereas on the somebody else, you know what I'm saying? They're right there saying, okay, let's manage that pain. You know what
Hmm.
I'm saying? Whereas a black woman, they might say, well, are you drug seeking?
Hmm. Yeah.
See, are you drug seeking? Whatever. So those biases are already put in place, and that's why I say, you have a body over here that's making sure that people are being treated fairly and getting, equal health care.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Without the biases, without the drama. You know what I'm saying? So you can alleviate that fear. Some people don't even go to the hospital because of fear of how they're going to be treated, man.
Yeah. I mean, that's something I suffer from, man. In the whole situation for when Pop passed, man.
Mm-hmm.
He had the our father. He had heart issues, and it had become infected or something like that. And he had an IV in his arm, and on the day that he went to go get the IV taken out, I was supposed to go to the hospital with him, but I had a long night that night.
Mm-hmm.
Out being young or whatever, so I was laying on the couch with him on my left, and a short while after that, uh, one of his lodge brothers, Albert Gray, rest in peace. He came by and he said, "You got to come on, Spoke." You know, and when I got there, he was gone.
Oh
So
man,
that,
I did not know that, bro.
yeah, so that put me in a place, man, with hospitals, man, that and I used to work in a hospital.
Yeah, yeah,
So before that, I had no issues with going to see people in the hospital or anything like that, man. But that was traumatic, man. It was
yeah.
traumatic because at that point, I had not factored in the loss of my father into my life.
Right, right.
You know,
And that's what I'm, that's what I mean by, if you really think about it, these things are happening, man, every day,
Hmm.
affecting people's lives just like your life was affected. And nobody, you know, so and everybody's just going about their business. I think Cornell West is one of those guys who would pay attention to something like that that
Hmm.
address us. See,
Right.
they want to make it difficult, man, for us to address our own well-being. They want to make it a universal thing, whereas even if it's a situation where it's a universal thing where everybody is being looked at, you have to start from the people who are suffering the most, who's at the bottom, who's suffering the most. You have to address that first,
Okay.
you know. Then branch out from there to where everybody's benefiting. But while you're on this universal talk or whatever, those same people who's been suffering is still continuing to do so because you want to make it a colorblind society, and we all know that's not the case, man.
Hmm.
You know,
Okay. You think Edgar, he commented, great topic. He's being censored, and then he said, and then Keith, our brother Keith, he uh, he asked, Edgar how he was being censored. Have you noticed any censorship?
I think, man, I think he speaks his mind, but he has the whole Democratic part. He has those guys going against him. With the simple conversation is, well, if you run for president, then you're going to take votes from Biden. You know what I'm saying? And
Hmm.
the argument is 30% of the American population don't vote anyway. You know what I'm saying? What if Cornell tap into that 30%, which would make him viable to the point where he can have, what I'm saying, have power. He can come to the table and speak to the downtrodden's needs. And he's not only just talking about black people, he's talking about poor whites. He's talking about everybody who's catching hell. You
Hmm.
know what I'm saying? And he always goes against the power structure to the point where the brother get arrested when he's protesting. We're talking about Wall Street.
Hmm.
You know, these cats, what I'm saying, they do the money grab and they built people out of whatever with the predatory lending and all that stuff. That whole predatory lending thing, man. You know what damage that put on the black middle class, man.
Oh yeah, we suffered that damage, man.
Yeah, man.
I know exactly what it
Yeah.
was.
So that has to be addressed.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? What usually happens is they skim over it. They skim over what's happening in the black community. They only want to talk about the crime and all these different things.
Hmm.
You know.
Can
But
I ask?
what?
Can I ask you? Playing devil's advocate. Okay. Let's say he was to make a serious bid, right? And in a perfect world, he was to gain the seat of the presidency, right? What would uh what would be the difference between him and Barack Obama? Because I know you have very very strong opinions about Barack Obama, but in my opinion, he kind of navigated the best that he could. If he done things for black people, there was potential for violence. Now, if Cornel West gets into office and does things and advocates for black people strictly, how would that keep us out of civil war?
Being represented, man, in this country, man, in the political sense, man, if that drives us to civil war, then you might as well take back civil rights. You know what I'm saying? All those amendments that was passed where other people benefit from. You might as well take those away. You know what I'm saying? And anything else that we as black people achieve but other people benefited from. You know
But
what
that's
what
that's
keeps the
that's the political structure, though. I mean, this country was built on the oppressed, getting a leg up, and through them getting that leg up, other people benefited from us. I mean, for us, I don't want to. I'm not a martyr, because I'm still alive.
I think I think that when it comes to our people, when it comes to the black community, there's always that threat,
Hmm.
civil war. You know what I'm saying? It's like that connection that was made back then is still being used now in terms of putting fear into people's hearts.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Putting fear into people's hearts, and that psychological thing will say, you know what? You can't ask for too much, because if you do, it's gonna cause this and it's gonna cause that.
Hmm.
You know. What did Martin Luther King say? If you ain't willing to die for something, you know what I'm saying? What's the point? When you look in your grandbaby's eyes, man, you have an understanding that, you know what, you can be successful, you can make it work, you
Hmm.
can build a decent life, you know, but there is still that anonymous threat that's lurking, where you like, I just got to get my kids, I just got to get my grandbabies in the place where they understand that if you work hard and you educate yourself, you can do the things you want to do in life.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? How easy is it to get caught up in the argument, man, that really doesn't mean anything? Like, hey, man, if y'all march on Washington one more time, it's gonna be a civil war. That's tyranny, man. You know what I'm saying? Remember when they was marching, man, and Trump brought out the police, and they was shooting them with rubber bullets and hoses and stuff.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? That's tyranny, man. That's tyranny, and it was more white protesters than it was black.
Hmm.
And for what reason? Black Lives Matter. That's what all of them was marching for.
Hmm.
So what do they want to do? They want to, why? If you look at it, it's always about stifling what happened in the past that actually worked.
Hmm.
Legislations passed and all that. That actually worked. It changed things. It was a lot of congressmen from those organizations that became congressmen that's been there for, you know what I'm saying, since then, since those
Hmm.
times. And they were young people. They don't want that. They just want to continue to rain down tyranny, that, or the threat of it, you know. And if you think about it, man, back then they marched, man, and it was a non-violent march, and they achieved something.
Hmm.
You know, that's fearless. That take heart, man. That's dedicated to the cause, man. You know, I think it is we as a people get behind one candidate and we say these are our demands. This is what we want. If you don't, then you're gonna get voted the hell out of office.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Use the political power. Use the political power to make a point. You
Okay.
know.
Okay.
So when somebody come to me and say, "Hey man, if you vote for Cornell, you just wasting the vote." No, I'm not wasting the vote. I'm voting my interests. You know what I'm saying? They always want to say, black, we not monolithic. You know what I'm saying? That's, to me, that's one of the worst arguments you can possibly make, man. Simply because if you look at every other community, they're not monolithic either, but they do come together. And then once they get, the things that they want, then they work out the differences.
Hmm.
You know. But you parade a black man or a black woman up there and say, I don't agree with everything this person over here say, so I'm a vote Republican. Oh, I'm a conservative. And then you say, well, okay, your kitchen table ideas, man. Really, you don't identify with this person, or do you want to, or do you want to, hang on to those catchphrases? We not monolithic. You know what I'm saying? And for somebody like me, that's the most ridiculous argument to stand on, man. Especially when you're trying to get something.
Yeah.
If I'm making
Edgar,
sense.
you're making a lot of sense, bro. Making a lot of sense. Edgar, you think commented geopolitically, no community is prepared for civil war. And when I mentioned civil war, I didn't mean to imply that I'm going to pick up my pistol and go out there and start shooting. I mean, that's the first thing from anything that I want, you know. But sometimes, well, I don't need to say that. Yeah, this politics, man. For me, it's always been like the Bible, man. I can talk about anything else, with a certain level of confidence, but politics in the Bible, man. Uh, I don't flip flop, man, but I have my opinions, and those opinions are pretty much rooted in who I am. You know, I truly believe that I vote with my heart, and as far as the Bible goes, man, the Ten Commandments, you know, I do the best I can to live by those. Uh, okay. Topics. What else? What else you got on your mind, brother?
Before we move on this, before we move, I want to address what my wife said. She said, "What are the limitations of the Black Caucus?"
Mm-hmm.
When I was looking at the bylaws and stuff like that, the Black Caucus pretty much spoke up. They could not mention, or make sure I'm wording this right. Their focus is not on the black community. You know what I'm saying? Their focus is on minority stuff. So in their bylaws, it doesn't mention anything black.
Should
You know
it?
what I'm saying? Yes, it should, because if you look at the Latin community and the Latin, you know what I'm saying, they speak the Latin community. If you look at all these, they speak on the things that they want, they expect.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas the Black Caucus doesn't. They speak on it as a whole, and it's like, what is my thinking? This is my personal opinion. What is your purpose as a Black Caucus if you're not addressing black issues? You know what I'm saying? And you're incorporating other people's stuff in there. You know what I'm saying? You're
Mm-hmm.
incorporating other people's stuff in there, and it's still not addressing the needs of black people. You're still not addressing it, man.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And it becomes this big umbrella of all kind of different entities that want, you know, want want their needs to be addressed, whereas that main entity, which is the black community, is like, hey man, we're not going to address exactly what it is that you are struggling with as a black people. We're going to address the whole thing. You know. So in essence, where we been? We been pretty much edged out. We pretty much being uh, mixed into everybody else's, and our needs is it really getting addressed, man? You know, you talked about Barack Obama. You know, did he give me a feel good moment, man, when he became president? But when you become president with 94% of the African American community voting for you the first time, and you don't get nothing, then you're being told, hey, just be patient. and then you go through and you vote 98% of the black community, and you still don't get anything. I'm saying, what's the alternative to that, man? The alternative is somebody like Cornel West is gonna say, my people catching hell, and we're gonna talk about that. We're not gonna take nothing else from anybody else, but we're gonna get addressed. You know what I'm saying? And we're gonna, when I spoke about the health care as it pertains to black women, that is a serious issue, man, and that actually goes on. How often have you heard anything about it? Sisters going to the hospital, you know what I'm saying, and not being treated with humanity. Talk to any sister
Very
that you
often.
know. Talk to any sister that you know, and they'll give you a story. And that is unprecedented, man. That is the craziest thing in the world, man, to allow to continue to happen. You know, that's mortality, man. This like brothers killing each other. That's mortality. But when you dealing with the women, that's home, bro. That's the essence of it, right there. Because if you ain't got no black women or no black babies, you ain't finna have no society. You ain't finna have no culture. You ain't finna have anything.
I agree with
You
you.
know.
I agree with you.
And I want a man or a woman who's brave enough to address that, man. Because that's the number one issue. Everything else, man, I can care less, man. You know what I'm saying? When my wife go to the hospital, when my daughters go to the hospital, I want them to get the utmost care, bro. I
Hmm.
don't want them to be afraid to be left alone because they might not get the right treatment or they might be ignored. You know what I'm saying? And that's a reality, bro. And that's all I wanted to say.
Situations like that, man, I think we need to encourage our children, man, to become doctors. We need to, encourage them to educate themselves and come back to our communities and open up outreach centers and such. We need to have resources, in position, man, that we can, go out and, you know, check on the sick and shut in, and help to facilitate treatment for the, for those people. And I feel like, we definitely had the resources within our community to do so. So if Cornel West, even if he wasn't to get elected, man, could, in the meantime, during like the election, presidential bid, and and all of the fireside chats and such, if he could help to, set those things up, that would be a win for us right there.
Yeah.
I mean, mobilization. You don't have to be sitting in, you don't have to be sitting in the driver's seat to obtain mobilization.
Yeah.
So I get that aspect, man. But
If he
me
ain't
being
anything, he grassroots. That's for sure.
yeah, me being an American skeptic, man, I see him getting his hands tied, just like Barack Obama, man. And I really don't want to be sitting around 8 years after his bid, talking about what he didn't do.
You too young to remember this, man. But remember when Jesse Jackson ran?
No, I was in high school, man. He came to Ypsilanti. He came to Ipsy High and spoke.
Yeah.
And I was playing. What was it? It was either football or basketball season. So they put us all in the middle of the gym, in front of the lectern as he was speaking. We didn't get to
Mm-hmm.
we didn't well I didn't get to meet him, but his presence was definitely moving. You know
And my point is, bro, he didn't win anything, but he won enough delegates for them to have to pay attention to him.
he did. He
You know what I'm
did.
saying? And
Jesse
I
did.
think
Al
that's the whole
Sharpton did.
thing
Yeah.
right there. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's what it takes, man. That's why I brought up the Tea Party, man, because when it first started, man, we used to laugh at them.
Mm.
We used to laugh at them and look at these crazies and these kooks out here. Next thing you know, they in Congress and shit.
Yeah.
You know, and that is the grassroots thing that I'm talking about. You build you build coalitions where people have to pay attention to you, man.
Yeah. You mentioned the Tea Party, man. You know, the Tea Party and other legitimately grassroots organizations, the was it the Proud Boys and such. Those are grassroots organizations, man. You know, I
Mm-hmm.
mean, they may be against our agenda or whatever, or you know, see us as non-factors in this country, but I think we need to take an example from how they mobilized, man. You know, because one day they was not there, and the next day, you know, potentially hell, your neighbors was flying Black American flags all over the damn place. You know what I mean? So how did they get that level of exposure?
Um, I think I think I think Trump put that battery in their pack, man. I mean,
Hmm.
that battery in their back. You're saying he made. I remember, man, when he was giving a speech or he was answering questions, and he literally looked in the camera and he said, "I am a white nationalist."
Hmm.
You know. Now, if they change the definition of what a white nationalist is, then let me know.
Hmm.
You know, but that wasn't even a dog whistle, man. That was a straight, direct message to them, and that's how they got. That's how they got. And you know, hey, you know what? We finally got a guy in place. Now, dig this. We finally got a guy in place who's speaking to how we feel about things.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? That's the thing. You know, people think that I don't like Barack Obama. That's not the case. That's not the case. The problem I had with him is when you say, "Hey, look, we're gonna get to those issues my second term, man. But right now, man, you know, we got to toe this line because of this and because of that." And I'm like, ain't nobody else doing that. Ain't nobody else doing that. Yo, if you have one term and you at least address, you know, the black community every time at the top of your docket, you address them. That works wonders for our people, man.
Hmm.
We ain't telling nobody to go to the street. We all we talking about is voting. That's a non-threatening activity. You know what I'm saying? But you got to give them an incentive to go and vote, not because you black and you got a black wife. You got to inspire some brothers and say, hey, if you want this addressed, man, then y'all need to show up because I'm gonna be there and I'm gonna speak on it, and I need y'all to have my back. He didn't do that, man. Matter of fact, there is very little difference between him and Biden, man. Very little difference. You know what I'm saying? He don't even have any liberal ideologies, man. What was his? And I'm not banging on the brother. You know, I ain't trying to drag him. You know what I'm saying? Because he did some good things. But by the same token, man, this brother, he, you know what I'm saying? If you claim to be that, you know what I'm saying? See, the world don't tell you. If you're a black man, the world reminds you of that every day. Why not address that? Because nothing you say is going to change that, bro. And that's not to mention, man, he had the most Secret Service around him because of all the death threats he was getting. So that fear was already there just for sure, you know, just for showing up. So why not speak to what are you seeing in Chicago? Why not speak to it? Why not speak to you know, those things that this country tried to get black people to try. This country tried to get black people to act like, you know, what's not happening, man. I don't know. I don't know a black person, man. I don't know a black man. Let me put it this way, but I can't speak for women. I can only look at my family and say, okay, what are your experiences? What you going through? You know what I'm saying? I could, I see it from afar, but you make it more personal to me when you speak on it. You know what I'm saying? But as a black man, dude, we, you, me, Keith, we live in the gray area, bro. Outside of that gray area, everything is a threat, right? Am I right or wrong? Can you speak to that?
I can't speak to it. I mean, because uh, living the life that I've led, being around people, being around men who've led, similar lives to what I've led, I can honestly say that I've had very little interactions with the police. That's number one, and number two is anytime in the last, I would say, hell, 10 years, and anytime in the last 10 years, honestly, from my recollection, I've only experienced aggression from other black men. Does Cornell West have any solutions to that situation? The violence that we commit against each other? Because in my humble opinion, man, everything starts at home. Black
Yeah,
people need to
absolutely.
love
I agree.
black people. Black people need to love black people and show the world that black people love people in order for them to start giving a shit about us. And I just don't see a lot of examples of that. I'm not saying that they don't exist, but the entertainment quality that people receive from the negative, man, is pushed forward much more.
You got a man who went to prison, man, at a young age,
Hmm.
right? Spent 20 years in prison. You know what I'm saying? Either gonna adapt to that, become institutionalized, and say, you know what, it's a dog eat dog world, and I got to get mine. Getting yours got you in prison for over 20 years.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But if you have any type of inspiration with life or whatever, and I can't speak because I've never been to prison, but I'm just saying, uh, you know, the world is led to believe that we are not um, loving people, which is a farce, it's a lie. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
It's a lie. What we are people, man, who make mistakes. We are people who make mistakes, and the world emphasize those mistakes that we make, and then they place labels on us. You know what I'm saying? If a kid, man, is acting out or whatever, and you put this label on them, and that becomes their life. Come on, man, we all did dumb shit. You know what I'm saying? But given the opportunity to lift yourself up, not that old bullshit about you got to lift yourself up by the bootstrap. No, you got to believe in yourself and say, hey, you know what? I'm ashamed of how I was and what I did, and I want to make amends for that. The world don't even allow us to make amends for anything, man. Especially when they're judging our young men at such an early age. That's hypocrisy, man. Because every other group making just as many, doing just as many whatever, but they create all these statistics to highlight that
Hmm.
we don't love our kids. I read a statistic the other day that it said that black men are more loving, more nurturing, and spend more time with their kids than any other group. I saw that. Matter of fact, I made sure that it wasn't a bogus statistic, and then it's right. And then when you think about your experience with the brothers that's in your life, how many brothers don't take care of their kids, man?
Not a lot. Not a lot. I mean, but there are some that exist.
Yeah, but but what I'm saying is, are we really the poster child for that, man? I don't think so, bro. This is my humble opinion. I don't think so. You know what I'm saying? Because the brothers that I've encountered, I can't deal with the mother, but I got to make sure my youngin is all right. And they go through the motions of doing it. Even with the strife and the struggles between the parents, they still make sure that their child is right, is okay, at least eating. You know what I'm saying? Do I say, am I going to sit here and say, well, this group do it more and that group? No, everybody does it, man. Some cats, man, every group abandoned a child that they didn't plan for.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Every group does that. My point is, black men are not the poster child for that. Because statistically, we take care of our children, man.
Okay.
Statistically we do. Now, if anybody, nobody wants to agree with me or want to challenge that, then look it up, research it yourself. You know what I'm saying? And that's the type of message that needs to go out, man. Ronald Reagan say, welfare queen. This idiot said welfare queen, and there's 10 million more white women on welfare than black women. You understand my sentiment?
Mm-hmm.
But because he said it, that became a thing, man. So in response, what do people say? Well, because black men ain't take care of their family, and we footing the bill on the state, they can't live in the house with them. How many white men could not live in the house with the white mothers, as on the opposite side of the black man?
Mm-hmm.
I would venture to guess that more black men could not enter the house and be with the family because the mother was on welfare than the opposite.
Mm-hmm.
You feel what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Because people in important positions made those corny ass. Hey Mo, love you too, baby.
Hey, Momo.
And I know I've been rambling, man. Go ahead, bro. I'm listening.
No, I mean this is content, man. This is it's important. You, you have an opportunity, to get some things lined up about your political views, man. That's what we're about. You spoke about the justice system, man. In your love you, honey, love you. In your opinion, man, what could the president do, be it Cornel West or anyone who was willing to add in on that add in on that problem? What could the president of the United States do to kind of ease some of the pressure, on not only the black community, but the American population period, man? This country, we incarcerate more people than anybody else on the face of the earth. That's what the last statistic I read was. What do you think the president can do to try to help us out in that situation?
First of all, you got to elect congressmen and senators, man, who are unlike Joe Biden, man.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? They want to talk about that. What is it? The '94 legislation he put all those brothers in jail.
Mm-hmm.
It's like two other legislations he tried to push. He did one with Strom Thurmond.
Did he?
Yeah. Now, to my understanding, from what I read, I believe that's the case. Do your homework and research it yourself. But I think that he supported the bill with Strom Thurmond to have stronger, law enforcement and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So that was a thing that he did. That's why I couldn't understand why people chose to vote for this dude, man. But see, I'm an old cat, man. You know what I'm saying? I got a long memory. You know, so when people come to me and say, "But hey, man, you know, it's either Trump or it's Biden, man. Who you gonna vote for?" You know what I'm saying? That's that same argument. Well, hey, man, vote for or vote for the lesser evil.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? That vote for the lesser evil. That where's that in the Bible, man? You feel me?
Hmm. But yeah, let me ask you this, man. As far as like the prison industrial complex goes, man, as far as privatized prisons goes, do you think it would benefit the black community if some of our moneyed citizens were to open private prisons of our own? I mean, it's business.
Yeah, well, you contributing to your own demise, man.
You're contributing to your own demise, but in a sense, you know, if we own the prisons that had to house our people, if we could get those contracts or whatever, we could definitely reinforce rehabilitory programs. We could have those places, you know, like in regards to industry, man. We could have those places working with black business to provide resources to them. Because I mean, prison industries, man, they make shit. They make shit. In some cases, I'd imagine high fashion shit, regular everyday stuff that we use every day. If we had, our black prison population, like I said, working hand in hand with our, small black businesses, to supply them, and the money would, stay in our communities. I think, that's a way that we can find some usefulness out of heartache.
But would we be contributing to the black code and Jim Crow laws, man? With the vacancy shit and all that, man. You got more black men in prison, man, for nonviolent,
You do,
offenses
you do.
than anything. You know what I'm saying? So, what about justice, bro?
Yeah, and I'm in no way an advocate for incarceration. It depends on the degree of the crime or whatever, because there's no rehabilitation in our prisons. You know, at at any level. So making a person sit down for a period of time for an infraction, okay, yeah, I get it, but I don't see any change coming, man. We're still going to be arrested and put away at freaking unprecedented rates. You know, it's the same sentiment that a person would have if they were interested, I believe, in buying like a sports team, man.
Okay, let me
I
explain
mean,
that.
like if a bunch of black billionaires got together, man, and pool of top dollar money to go and outright buy a sports team, basketball, football, baseball, or whatever, and they were able to pool resources to put them back into black communities. It would be something along the same lines. With people with money don't think like that, man. A black billionaire is not the same as you and me. They're really not. America is probably one of the only places that you can buy yourself out of real oppression. I mean, what's the expectation for these people to reach back, though? I mean, it's a slippery slope, bro. It's a slippery slope. I mean, like when everybody was opening up these dispensaries, you know, I had a notion that all the weed men we knew back in Ipsy who was selling weight, selling pounds of weed, was gonna find a pop up somewhere, a brick and mortar, and start pumping they products legally. It ain't happened. It has not happened.
Why
As a
is
matter
that?
of, I
It's
don't know,
corporate greed, isn't it? That's
because
corporate greed.
there's money. There's money. there always been and will always be money in a in illegal activity. You know.
I think, man, people have to make a choice, man. I think people have to make a choice, bro. They have to make a choice whether money is their God or the survival of their people. You know what I'm saying? Anytime, man, you have a people that was enslaved for 400 years,
Hmm.
and 40 years after enslavement, they were in a better position than we are today. That speak volumes, man.
Mm.
That speak volumes. Now, you know, they went through and they burned down all the communities, so there was tyranny that was involved in that. But when when they were brought out of slavery with black code and the Jim Crow laws and all that stuff, they were put back in slavery, but there was still that element of our people who survived. Man, there were babies who were there who needed mothers, and there were black mothers who took in babies
Hmm.
and raised them.
Still happens today.
You know what I'm saying? And raised them. And that was out of love and compassion because of what you've been through.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I think, man, when we dropped the bars, when we said we decided that we wanted to be integrated into a situation,
I've always said that.
you know what I'm saying, into a situation where we thought it was better, but once that happened, everything that we built started to dissipate. Everything we built started to disappear because at the same time, if you remember, when we I forgot what that law, it escapes my memory right now, but that law was passed where we had our rights was there, and then they started importing people from all different countries who came to put businesses into our communities. Right?
Hmm.
So when you look at the black community now, you know, they used to be Bud and Joes and all these men who own these stores and stuff like that. You know, the only white man that was in our community was Abe. You feel what I'm saying? On the fruit
Yeah.
truck. Everybody else had stores and stuff
Hmm.
that they kept in the community. But then they started, yep, yep. Then they started selling those. Remember in I remember from Detroit, but when you started going, remember in Ipsy, man, those stores used to be black owned, and then they started selling those stores, and then the glasses and stuff went up.
Hmm.
You
Yeah.
know,
Security glasses. Yeah.
yeah, was those glasses there before? No, they wasn't. You know what I'm saying? People was keeping money in the community. You know, they were getting tax breaks, whereas black people weren't. You know what I'm saying? So they sold off family businesses, man, that was there for 40 years. You know, then they went to somebody else who didn't respect you. Loved your women, but didn't respect you as a man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So those are the little things, the little nuances that we got to think about and remember and say, okay, what stance do we take? What sacrifices do we make? And those sacrifices are and stances that we take, man, is if a brother open up a business or a sister open up a business, we support that joint, man. We support that joint and we keep it in our neighborhood. Because everybody else that's making money in that neighborhood is not investing it back. And that's how communities last, man. You look at these little small towns, man, around you. You know what I'm saying? They got businesses downtown, man, that been there for 50 years. Because they keeping money in the community. Whereas us, we ain't doing that. Cats going to school, males and females going to college and stuff, getting these degrees, doing very well and not coming back to support the community. Can you imagine being in the community, man, and you go and you become a doctor and you don't come back home? Well, you know for a fact that Doctors are needed more in the community that you grew up in than anywhere else.
Yeah, I I don't know a lot of doctors in my personal life, man, but it just seems to me that people go in the medical field to make money, man. We don't have a lot of money in a black community, so they go where the money is. I mean, that's just like that's human nature. That's just, you can make an argument that Deion Sanders did the same thing.
What do you mean?
He started off at a black college, and learned how to apply his wares there, and he moved on to a an integrated college, you know, for the bag. That's his goal. His goal was the bag, right? So he went and got it. But you had a lot of us who poured a lot of vitriol on the situation. I had no problem. I had no problem with him, air quotes, stepping up his game.
The only thing I can that is not holding against him, but when he went to Colorado, man, he took a lot of people with him.
You don't think he was supposed to?
Yeah, he was supposed to, but I think with Dion, I think to get the most attention because he's looking at the big picture. To get the most, he left Jackson State in a great position.
He did.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? That's up to them to maintain that. You know what I'm saying? That's up to them to maintain that. He left him in a great position. Now he's moved on, taking those people who made that position great, bringing them with him. Now he's finna make his stamp. I could see if he's like, hey man, I could see if he did like Barack Obama. You know what I'm saying? Preached all this good bullshit, and then when it was time to put his administration in place, he put in Clinton's people and Bush's people.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I really like. In my heart of hearts, I really like for some way or another to for it to work out that he would be involved with Jackson State somehow. You know, maybe not. Sending top tier guys there. He's going to take all the top tier guys himself, but still clearing the way for talented young black people, not just like young men. To have an in at Jackson State through him, that would
He
be
can say
amazing,
that.
man. That
He
would
can
be
say that.
amazing, man.
Yeah. He can tell him, hey man, go ahead and play 2 years,
Hmm.
and then we'll take another look at you. It's better to do that than send him to some JUCO that he's not affiliated with.
Yeah, yeah. JUCOs, man. I mean, I watched the documentaries on Netflix or whatever. When they would put those. Have you seen those?
Hmm.
It's like they go like down to Texas or somewhere and find some random. Well, not random. The ones that they feature. They were pretty good teams, but they would talk to the players and everything, and everybody had a story, man. Everybody had a story, and they were all Americans that had made mistakes or got jammed up in certain ways, and they were out of school, but they found themselves having the opportunity to play, at these particular JUCOs, right? And it was they they're struggling. They were struggling, man. They were struggling. Top tier athletes, top tier, who got burned places. These dudes was getting burned, when they was at bigger schools, but they were coming to these JUCOs and they felt like they was getting fucked around because in some cases they weren't playing. Some guys had jobs. They're going to school, full time jobs. They're going to school and they're playing football. So there's no money there. There's not a lot of money, within that system to provide full scholarships. Even though it is a 2 year a 2 year college, still costs money. You know what I mean? We have the resources, in our communities, man. To go to places like that, to go to the JUCOs, man, to go to historically black schools, man, and develop these young people to a point where they get out to the world and not only have a an inclusive mindset, but they do feel encouraged to go back to their own communities, man, and make moves.
Yeah.
But what's going to be their benefit to go and back to the hood that they was working so hard to get out of to set up a business, you know, and probably work from the feeling that black people ain't gonna do right, you know, and that narrative that narrative is offensive. I love excuse me, I love doing business with black people, love it, and I don't haggle with them. I do not haggle with black people. Whatever they charge me to do, whatever it is I need them to do, I'm gonna pay it. If I had a friend who had a business, I wouldn't go to whatever their establishment expecting a discount or special treatment or anything like that. I would go and do real regular business and pay what they charge me.
Yeah. And you know what? And that's great, man, to have that type of mindset, man. But that speaks volumes to your character. Sometimes people be trying to get over, man, because they think that's what it is.
Mm.
You know, but anybody who's really truly about upliftment, man, they know one hand washes the other. You know what I'm saying? It ain't about trying to get over and try to get something free. I don't think most people think that way. I think most black people think that way.
Oh wow!
I think that.
You stepped on toes, brother. You just stepped on toes.
Explain how did I do that?
You said you think most black people think that way.
I said I don't think that most black people.
Oh,
think
okay.
That way.
All right.
I don't think most black people. Most people, I know.
My
You know,
bad.
you got some cats out there that, man, I'm about to hustle. I'm about getting mine. You know what I'm saying? You're about getting yours, but when it happens to you or somebody that you love, you want to, you know what I'm saying? You want to scream the loudest.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But fair exchange ain't no robbery, is it?
Not since day one.
So I just don't have. You know what I'm saying? I've been black my whole life. I've been the man my whole life. You know what I'm saying? From a boy to the man. And most people, man, feelings get hurt,
Mm-hmm.
feel disappointed, have fears, and looking for opportunities. You know what I'm saying? Along the line, some people lose hope, so they shit on other people. But at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? If you know that you have the capabilities to survive to a certain point, man, where you can get a leg up, or get in a position where you know what I'm saying, there's opportunity there, you're
Mm-hmm.
gonna work your ass off, man.
But I think about the section of society, man, black, white, red, or green, man. The people who I see who don't need to do underhanded shit to get ahead, and they do it anyway. I don't respect that, man. Like when I was in school, you know, I was in Ipsy High School, at the beginning and the height of the crack era, right? So there was a lot of dudes, man, who had stones in their pockets walking around Ipsy High. And, I knew it, but some of those same dudes, man, came from two-parent homes, and their parents was in the plant, and they could, go school shopping and spend, drop 500-600, you know, from their parents' pockets, but they still sold dope, for the popularity, for the for their name to ring bells or whatever, man. I didn't respect that. Didn't respect that, man. Gangsters to me, I have an image in my mind of what a real gangster is, and ironically enough, it's doesn't have a lot to do with crime. Doesn't have a lot to do with crime, man. It's a mentality to me, man. I'm a thug, man. I'm a fucking gangster. You know what I mean? But not economically.
Well, my understanding, man, cats who thought like that, man, real cats who were real or who was really about that, who was really about that life, they moved in silence, man,
Mm-hmm.
and they ain't stay in one place for a long ass time.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I always sit back and listen to cats talking about how they hustling and shit. And they there 2.5 hours talking. It's like, how you a hustler and you here 2.5 hours, man?
You shooting shit. Yeah. You on
You know what I'm
vacation all
saying?
the time. On vacation all the time. You hustle. You hustle like this, but your life is a fucking vacation. No, it
Right.
ain't. No, it ain't.
But my dad, our dad told me one time. He said, "Man, they might be about that bullshit, but you just silly because you sitting there with them.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? What are you gonna do? You know what I'm saying? Are you gonna be about that? Because you know what it's gonna lead to. You know what I'm saying? And when I made that choice to change who I was, those same cats I was sitting with talking about, oh man, nigga, you like us. You ain't finna do shit.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Literally.
Yeah. I was never interested in a life of crime, man. Have you heard? You ever heard the expression "jump off the porch"?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I didn't jump off the porch, man. I tiptoed along. I tiptoed in the grass along the motherfucking sidewalk. So I didn't jump up, off the porch, man. And I thank God that I never had to move in the street, to eat. I have absolutely, from a humanistic point of view, uh, as far as dope goes, whatever form or fashion, I have no issue with somebody who might scramble, a little bit to eat, because a motherfucker got to eat,
Yeah.
But
But,
once it gets to a point, man, if you didn't get into this thing, man, to stack your money, to move it into something positive, man, then you just hustling for a vacation, man. You smoking weed every day, drinking liquor every night, you lay it up with a different person and shit. What does that represent?
well, if you remember, man, us growing up, man, I used to go to Bud and Joe's, man, and have conversations with the cats that sitting out there begging and shit.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And they be asking me, man, what you doing with these motherfuckers, man? Armstrong, what you doing with these niggas, man?
Yeah, in front of
You
them.
know what I'm saying? In front of them.
Yeah.
Man, you ain't supposed to be around them. The cats that they wouldn't listen to.
Mm-hmm.
The cats that was invisible, nobody listened to.
Mm-hmm.
Every time I walked in the store, man, man, this is the second day I done seen you here, man. Why is you here, man? You want to wind up like me? How often did you hear that growing up, bro?
Very often, man, and it blows my freaking mind, man. That when I'm reminiscing about things like that, it never ever it never happened to anybody else. It's happened to you and me. And, Keith was never really he never really moved like that. But I would be places, man, and people who the guys I was hanging out with, you know, they these guys would approach me and we would have conversations, and I'm talking to these guys for hours, just sitting around
Yep.
drinking or smoking and doing whatever. And shit, this dude is like an uncle to me.
Yep.
Oh, he got bodies all over. Well, he just told me to get the fuck out, get the fuck off the block.
Yep.
So there's a
Yep.
part of him who, that really gives a shit about me.
Yep.
And it was always through, association. I was always, nobody. Hell, I didn't know. I didn't think nobody knew my name. I was always little John, little Keith, little Fluke. Always,
Yep.
you know, dudes, see me out or whatever. Drinks was bought. Dudes would put money in my hand.
Yep.
So I didn't necessarily have to be out there, doing, what everybody else was doing, man. I mean, the amount of scrutiny that I felt like I was under, just growing up, man, and living up to certain shit.
Mm-hmm.
I learned young, man, that I got to make my own name.
Yep.
Got to make my own name, man. But We grew up, man, in a strange and wonderful place, man. We grew up in a
Yeah,
strange and wonderful place.
that's because we were taught that everybody mattered, man. No matter what their station
Every,
in life is, everybody
everybody
mattered.
fucking matters, man. Yeah,
Yeah, because
everybody matters,
everybody,
man.
yeah, everybody got. Man, you just both just got through talking about situations where you there hanging with your boys and that one cat that is doing it big and you know what I'm saying. Everybody laugh at that. Man, why you with these dudes, man? You don't belong here.
Hmm. See, Edgar Unthanked says, see, I have to cut out and will definitely be back, brothers. Great job tonight. I'll definitely promote this forum. Please and
Hey,
thank you, sir.
yeah, man. Appreciate you, bro. You had a lot of great statements, man.
Yeah,
Questions in there, man. I
yeah.
appreciate you.
Filled up that time, man, and definitely alleviated, well, helped to alleviate some of my anxiety, man, for real.
Yeah, we and all we this is what this is what we do, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Sitting down in the basement, we just start talking. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm. Hmm.
And yeah, man. Greatly appreciate the support, man. Real talk. You know, but
Let me see. We had a minute and 49, y'all. Let me see. You want to do things different, man? You want to go ahead and do your segment, or
um, yeah, I can go ahead and do my segment right now.
okay? You said you still got that move to make.
Yeah,
All
yeah.
right.
You
Well,
know,
I don't want to keep you on too long. Like I say, we had a minute and 41, man.
yeah. Man, hey, look here, man. We vibe, bro. You know what
Oh
I'm
yeah,
saying?
definitely, definitely,
We
man,
vibe,
definitely.
man. You know what I'm saying? This is how me and you kick it all the time, brother. You know, I appreciate you and Keith, man. You know, there's times, man, because of how the world is, man. There's times, man, where you need to be somewhere where you're familiar.
Hmm.
You know, and when you speak on whatever you're going through, it makes sense to somebody else. You know what I'm saying? And they can look at you and say, "Well, hey, bro, you know, this is what I know about you." And that's what we've done our whole lives, man.
Hmm.
You know, me and you got a thought, man. Me and you can be on here for another 3 hours, bro. Just talking
Yeah,
about our dad, man,
yeah.
and our mother. You know, you said something tonight, man. I did not know that you felt that way. It didn't even dawn on me, man, because I was going through the struggles myself. You know what I'm saying? In terms of our dad,
Mm.
I found out from my sister-in-law. She came to the house because for some reason we didn't get the call. She came to the house and she was looking at me like I got some bad news, you
Hmm.
know. And that was my experience, but I never knew what yours was, man. And I appreciate you sharing that with me, bro. You know, man,
It's a,
that means a lot.
it's rough for me, man. It's rough for me, man. Like, you know, I can remember the traumas that I suffered, singularly, or the perceived traumas, I'll say, because not everybody always gave a shit about what I had going on in a negative way. They was just being who they was. But when Ma passed and Pop passed or whatever, I don't remember any details, man. I don't remember any details, man. And like on birthdays and holidays and such, you know, and it's not a criticism, man, but I can't go on social media and discuss my feelings about them, man, because it puts me in a dark place. It really does. Not the experience, man. I can't remember the beat per beat moments, but I definitely remember the feeling, man. You know, I definitely remember the feelings.
I'm gonna tell you, bro. You know, and I appreciate what you're saying, man. You know, I'm just the exact opposite. I remember every moment. You know, and sometimes it get rough, but you know,
Yeah.
You know, you have to persevere. You have to push through, man. You know.
Yeah. I like to believe that's what I've been doing since their passing. But a lot of times, I just feel like I'm going through the motions on shit, on shit situations that I know that they could, talk me through. I haven't had a lot of people in my life to tell me I was fucking up lately, man. And I'm a human being, so I do fuck up.
What
But
do you mean? What do you mean by fucking up? What do you mean by that, man?
I mean, just not being who I am. Trying to fit a mold or whatever. That was always topics of conversations that I would have with our parents. You know, they both held deep concern, man, that I was just sitting around the house in Ipsy languishing. You know, and I had no notion of being productive, man. I had no notion of cementing my future in any way, and that concerned them. You know, and it became those conversations became a part of the fuel that pushed me. You know, I haven't had any feeling of accomplishment, man. Since I feel like I lost their support. That's why I really really doubled down on being transparent and trying to keep this podcast situation in a happy space for myself because I feel like we've accomplished a lot. We don't have a big presence on the internet, but that would really wasn't my goal from the onset. You know, my
Yeah.
goal, man. My selfish personal goal, man, was to be able to express myself and talk in the space, man, and and Josh and shit, on the platform, man, and people get to know who I am because and it's effortless, man. It's really really effortless, man, because once they see me here and we're blessed enough to meet each other in person, I feel like you're going to get the same person because this is authentic spoke, you know, and I haven't always had the confidence to to put that out there. So that's one of the things that this podcast has given me, man.
That's honest, man. I appreciate you sharing that with me, man. I will say this though. I mean, you need to let that burden go because I don't think that I've never saw you in that light. I've always saw you taking care of business, man. I always saw you taking care of business. I always saw you making sacrifices. I saw you put things on hold to make sure things were secure. And I, for one, appreciate that you did that, man. Okay. And that's
I
what
think
it. That's how I saw it.
I do thank you for that, brother. Do thank you for that. I mean,
Yeah.
I wish during those times, man, and it's not even like a selfish statement, man, but I wish that during those times I was a little more. I wish I concentrated on me a little more because I always feel like I just feel like I've always been a late bloomer, man. I mean, shit, I didn't graduate from college till I was down there 30. You know what I mean? I was living on college campus or whatever, and in my mid 20s, living at living a college life. You know what I mean? So certain things that I didn't involve myself in. I wasn't running around there with those young people, trying to trying to be their age or anything like that. I definitely knew what my position was, and I didn't take advantage of it, man. I mean, I definitely reaped a lot of benefits from it, man. So I had the sentiment that if I was to, exploit every opportunity or whatever, man, then I'd be doing wrong. So college for me, man, was a place that I was able to establish and concrete my limitations in regards to other people and their feelings or whatever, man. And not that that didn't exist in me before, but college was a space for me, man, to that I could say, well, this is the kind of dude I am, and in the meantime, I could be developing that dude. You know what I mean?
You don't think you did that, man? Once you left Eastern, man, and you went on the grind.
Well, that's a good question, man. I didn't see any point to it, man. I didn't see any point to it, man. I was a drone. I felt like a drone, man. 'Cause, I mean, you know how my employment history was back in Michigan, man. I was Mr. 90 Days at the hospital. I worked. When I moved to Ann Arbor, I had a pretty good job. At was it the Borders warehouse? But for the most part, man, I was always the dude, who was living check to check, man. Living check to check, and those, it affected me in a way because I felt like I was leaning like my friends and everything. I felt like I was leaning on them a whole bunch, man. Seriously, you know. So when I got out, man, and I established my own, you know, I've been very careful to, if I see a need, I'm trying to cover it. You know what I mean? If I see something, that's deficient, and we talk about it, you know, tell me what you need. If I can't give you the whole thing, if I can't, participate fully, then you got my support. You know, that's the man I'm trying to be. I'm trying to be a facilitator.
Okay, so you have aspirations, but in the beginning, you was to me, my perception was you was that responsible person. No matter how you choose to look at it in your own personal experience, I mean, I can't speak on that, but what I saw from the outside, man, you was taking care of business, man.
As far as
To
response,
to the point where I was like, well, he there, now I can be comfortable, and you was consistent with that. You understand what
I
I'm saying?
appreciate that. Yeah, I appreciate that, man. But I mean, it was, responsible. I wouldn't say responsible, man. I was responsible enough to show up.
Bro.
Growing up in Ipsy, man. That became instilled in me, man. Because it wasn't guaranteed to be a good time. Every time I showed up, to school or events or whatever, man, because I always see myself working from a deficit. You know, and that
It's
really
very
wasn't the case. It really wasn't the case, man. But I needed years to see that. And I'm proud of that development.
yeah. You should be proud of it from the start to where you at now because man, it wasn't a lot of brothers man who could have did what you did.
Man, there's a lot of brothers who did. You know,
I can't speak to them. I only can speak to my brother man and what I saw, and I appreciated it. You know what I'm saying? And when it was time for you to leave, what did you do? Graduated what? Summa cum laude or some shit?
yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
it was
Did your
fun, man.
thing.
It was definitely fun, man. And I miss it.
Right.
I miss the stage, man. I do. I miss the stage, man. I wish it was a way I could get the recordings or whatever because we recorded all the plays or whatever I was in, and they are like in the archives at my school, but I don't really know the process to get them. So I just talk about them with fondness now.
You call them. Say, hey man, I need these.
Mm.
I'm a graduate. I'm an alumni. I need these. You know what I'm saying? I'm finna get back into the field, and I need these for my resume.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
What would
saying?
that
And
look
it's
like? I sit around and think about what that would look like, man. Because every once in a while, I'll Google headshots, man. I'm like, give me some headshots and send them out, man. To an agent or whatever. You know, I
well, you
I
never
think
know what.
I think it'd be fun again, man.
Well, you know what? Maybe you should start next week, brother. You never know.
Well, yeah.
You never know. You know what I'm
Mr.
saying?
Keith Barnes says, I was told a lot of times when you're going through life that the trials and the good spells we endure and go through, the lessons learned is for others witnessing you endure. Definitely. I agree. I agree wholeheartedly, Keith. For real, man. My brothers, when we were together, they often talk about, how I didn't get a lot of whoopings, man. I remember two whoopings my whole life, and, over the years, the narrative has been created that, I was, spoiled in that sense. But nah, man, I seen examples of everything y'all got y'all ass kicked. I either didn't do or didn't get caught doing. You know,
Yo,
it's the
yo,
class.
you,
It's the classic, classic youngest sibling syndrome.
right. No, you and Keith just sit around saying to me, "Hey man, dude, I can't take this shit no more. Would you please?"
Just take your ass whooping and just let's go play somewhere. Like damn, like he go fucking up today. Well, when you used to get in trouble, man, I used to just go to sleep because I know everything's everything's shut down. And the best thing I could do is make myself scared so I don't get this shit. And that's the lessons that I learned.
Yeah, man.
You got to pick things
Smart
up.
man.
Yeah,
Smart man.
you got to pick things up from other people, man. You have to. You know.
Yeah.
The what is it? The snow monkeys in Japan. Have you ever
Mm-hmm.
seen pictures of those the what they're what I forget what they're called, the particular phylum that they are, but the ones who sit in like the hot springs, take
Mm-hmm.
baths and shit. They started doing that because they seen human beings doing it.
Oh
They
yeah.
start yeah. They started to go and relax themselves and sit in those hot tubs and get warmth from those tubs because they seen people doing it. You know, that's how we adapt and learn.
Yeah. Well, yeah, bro. We can go on all night long, brother. You know
Yeah,
how we do.
yeah.
You know. And I'm gonna go ahead and feed my wife, man.
Hmm.
And when I get back, man, if you up, I'm gonna call you back, man, so we can talk about the next joint we do.
All right,
You know what I'm
all right.
saying? You gonna be up?
Yeah, I'll be up for a little while, man. Shit. I done got the doggone Armstrong and insomnia, man.
With that 4 hours of sleep?
If that, if that, man. Sometimes I don't even go to sleep, man.
Yeah. I
I'm
know
like,
the
damn,
feeling,
man.
man.
How in the world did God put two people together who both would go on to suffer insomnia and pass it down to all their kids?
I don't know, man. I wake up at 3:30 every goddamn day. I'll be like, damn.
Yeah. At 3:30, man. Me too.
Yeah.
And all I
So,
can think of, I heard it's a biblical thing, man. When you wake up that night, you get on your knees and pray because God is trying to tell you something.
well, I wish you hurry up and tell me because I'll be sitting there like, okay.
Mhm.
Staying off in the dark.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, I'm gonna
Well,
hit
yeah,
you back, man.
yeah.
As soon as I gotta hit this store before it closes.
I understand, brother. I understand.
But I'm gonna
Yeah.
hit you back as soon as I get home.
Okay, okay. Everybody, this has been another edition of Strong Perspective Podcast, man. Please like, share, and subscribe. Tonight, is a different format. I definitely enjoyed it, man. It's been a good show, brother. As always,
I
you've been
agree.
eloquent and educational, brother. And I value your time, man.
I value yours too,
I really
bro. And I
do.
learned something tonight too, man. I appreciate you.
And before we leave, man, you think you might want to plug your upcoming, or how you want to do that?
We still in the process or whatever. The next one I'm gonna come out and let everybody know what's happening.
Okay,
You know.
okay. Well, good folks. Everybody, let me check the comments real quick before you go. Aunt Liz, love you. I want to see you. We're gonna plan that out. Sister girl, Benita Armstrong, thank you for the love. Nisa gal, Morgan Armstrong, yeah, keep doing your thing. Uh, Keith Barnes, it's always a pleasure, brother. Always a pleasure. Kibo, we missed you this time, man, but definitely look forward to being on screen with you again. Edgar, you think, hey man, you dropped some powerful jewels, brother. Powerful jewels. I definitely appreciate the participation, and I look forward to more. Like, share, and subscribe us, man. Uh, Show's gonna be ready, I guess, later on this evening. My brother Keith, is going to upload it. It's going to be on YouTube. Uh, Check us out. Check us out. You know, and I tell you what, man. Also, give me some pointers. Give me some pointers, man. I'm not above that. Give me some criticisms. I have a performance background, so I can take the criticism. Let me hear. Uh, Brother man, I'm gonna catch you later. Okay. This has been Strong Perspectives. Like, share, subscribe. I bid you peace.
Peace.